Hello and welcome. Tonight, Governor Abba Yusuf of Kano State vows to approach the Supreme Court following the appeal court judgment removing him from office. Says attempts by some individuals to grab power from him will fail. Federal government begins process for the release of over 4,000 inmates from correctional centers across the country as part of the measures to decongest the facilities. Many buildings to go down in Lagos as the federal and state governments intensify demolition of illegal structures amid protests by affected residents. And hundreds of people, including some patients, leave Gaza's main hospital, but Israel denies asking them to evacuate. On Sports News tonight, Yannick Sinner becomes first Italian to reach the final in the season-ending ATP Finals after beating world number 2 Daniel Medvedev.
And on Business News tonight, NGX Regulation Limited moves to promote financial literacy and inclusion for women's economic growth.
It's not over yet. That's what Governor Abba Yusuf of Kano State appears to be saying as he vows to challenge at the Supreme Court the judgment of the appeal court in Abuja, which affirmed the earlier judgment by the State Governorship Election Tribunal sacking him from office. Addressing the people of Kano State following the judgment, Governor Yusuf said his administration will resist attempts by some individuals to grab state power through the back door. Amid the divergent reactions to the judgment by the residents of Kano State, Governor Yusuf urged the people to remain law-abiding as he continues with his vision to reposition the state.
I want to inform the good people of Kano State, and indeed all well-meaning Nigerians, that based on the consensus of our stakeholders, we have instructed our lawyers to commence the process of appealing this judgment at the Supreme Court of Nigeria. We are optimistic that the Supreme Court will, by the grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, set aside these miscarriages of justice by the tribunal and the appeal court and reaffirm our mandate given to us by the good people of Kano State. I therefore want to urge all the good people of Kano State to continue to go about their legitimate businesses unimpeded, as government has taken all necessary measures to ensure the security of lives and properties in the state. I want to assure you that this temporary setback will not deter us from continuing with all our projects and programs targeted at restoring the lost glory of our state. We shall continue to roll out more projects and programs to better the lots of the good people of our state.
Meanwhile, the leadership of the New Nigeria People's Party, NNPP, is in sync with Governor Abba Yusuf on the appeal court judgment and has equally rejected the verdict. The acting national chairman of the NNPP, Mr. Abba Ali, told journalists at a news conference in Abuja that the judgment is a miscarriage of justice, and the party's leadership has instructed their legal team to head to the Supreme Court.
To say the least, we were shocked at the miscarriage of justice delivered on Friday, 17th November 2023, on the governorship election petition of Kano State. In spite of overwhelming evidence presented by the tribunal to the tribunal by our team of lawyers, the tribunal passed one of the most ridiculous judgments in the history of election jurisprudence in Nigeria, and unjustly declared the APC candidate, who's never joined the petition, as the winner of the election. It is therefore unbelievable that the appeal court will refuse to look at the merit of our party's appeal and cling to the erroneous issues of membership that has already been settled severally by both the appeal and Supreme Court. We are therefore informing all members of NNPP and indeed all Nigerians that our party has already briefed our lawyers to appeal this injustice at the Supreme Court.
To crime matters in Anambra State, the police have arrested a person suspected to be dealing in prohibited firearms in the commercial city of Onitsha. A statement by the police spokesperson in the state, DSP Tochukwu Ikenga, explains that the breakthrough followed weeks of intensive surveillance by operatives of the command. He stated that a total of 23 automatic pump-action guns and 625 live cartridges were recovered, while 3 suspects, made up of the suspected arms dealer and his accomplices, have been arrested while investigation continues. Efforts to decongest custodial centers across the country is receiving a new boost as the federal government flags off a program to release over 4,000 inmates from 253 facilities nationwide. The Minister of Interior, Mr. Olubunmi Tunjojo, notes that the program is targeted at indigent inmates who cannot afford to pay their fines. He was speaking at the flag-off ceremony in Abuja, where he explained that the sum of 585 million naira has been raised by corporate bodies and philanthropists for this purpose.
Thank you very much.
The Minister of Interior, directors at the ministry, and officials of the Kuje Correctional Facility are attending this function in Abuja. The event is the official flag-off ceremony of the federal government scheme to release over 4,000 inmates from custodial facilities across the country. There are 253 custodial facilities nationwide with the capacity to accommodate about 50,000 inmates. However, these facilities are already overcrowded with 80,804 inmates as at the end of October 2023 and needing urgent decongestion.
Today, we flag off the release of about 4,068 inmates who are serving different terms of imprisonment in lieu of fines and or compensation. This is in a bid to decongest custodial centers as well as make them humane for proper reformation and rehabilitation of offenders to take place.
The federal government has mobilized corporate organizations and philanthropists to support the program, as the minister gives further insights on beneficiaries.
All inmates in custodial centers who have fines or compensation not exceeding 1 million naira are qualified and will benefit from this. Most of the benefiting inmates at the verge of the freedom are indigents who cannot afford to pay their fines and are languishing in custody.
4,068 inmates from 253 facilities across the country are to benefit from this decongestion program, a gesture that the Controller General of the Nigeria Correctional Service wants the beneficiaries to be grateful for.
To all beneficiaries of this kind and benevolent venture of the Minister of Interior, I implore you all to be good ambassadors of the NCOS by not returning back to the way of crime, but rather lead productive lives as responsible and law-abiding citizens.
If the promises made at this occasion are followed up with action, then relief is on the way for inmates who will benefit, as well as the already overburdened custodial centers across the country.
We turn our attention to road infrastructure. The condition of the Benin-Agbo Road remains a source of worry for residents and motorists. This is in spite of the palliative measures adopted by the Edo State government to help fix the failed portions. While the youth in the area commend the ongoing repairs by the state government, they are also asking the federal government for more enduring repair work on that part of the expressway.
The Edo State government mobilizes work on some of the failed sections of the Benin Agbo Road. The presence of Edo State Governor, Mr. Godwin Obaseki, is a welcome sight to residents. Mr. Obaseki says he's ready to fix some of the federal roads in the state, even at the risk of not getting refunds from the federal government.
Our federal government, they have sold these roads to somebody. They say they did concession many years ago, about 3 years ago. So they will not allow us to touch it. This one we are doing is by force. They are not going to refund us 1 kobo. And we're not even going to worry asking them to refund us. The permanent solution is because this road is not our own, and federal government has refused to give us this road, we will now go and construct the old road, which is our own.
At the moment, things have improved, but vehicles still labor to move on the road. There's a blame game between drivers plying the route.
No, they pass here. Now, before my partner would discharge, we would run on the chart to Agbo.
But if we park for it, don't make sense. The way give us chance, we road for white. And I expect this road.
Okay, there is no way committed to that vehicle will not pass. I can't say that we are not causing the problem. Rather that you know that between the rainy season, children can cause a lot of things.
The youths in the area insist that half bread is better than none. Their plea goes to the federal government for a proper rehabilitation of the road.
We are happy that the way it was before now, you yourself, you came, everywhere was bad, but it's doing palliative work. We are happy. And by the grace of God, 60% is gone. And the contractor have also promised that the remaining 40% will be completed in short time.
The Benin Agbo Road is one of the many federal roads in Edo State that is in need of urgent repairs. For residents, a lasting solution would be in the interest of everyone.
Meanwhile, the Senate Committee on Federal Roads Maintenance Agency, FERMA, is asking the agency to ensure that only competent contractors are awarded road maintenance projects. The chairman of the committee, Senator Babangida Hussaini, gave the charge during the inaugural meeting with the new board of the agency in Abuja.
FERMA is very critical to national development. It is meant to address issues of road failures in the 38,000-kilometer federal highways. And apparently over the years, FERMA needs to wake up to its responsibility. The movement of goods and services depends almost entirely on good and motorable federal highways. Over the years, we see it in the social media, we see it in the main media, the condition of our roads, which is having serious impact on the national economy. Movement of goods and services are slowed down and delayed, loss of lives and properties occasioned by poor condition of our roads. Since the inauguration of the 10th Assembly, we have taken almost 10 motions on principally the situation and the condition of our roads. And therefore, this Senate, the 10th Senate, is very serious and concerned about the conditions of our road. You are expected to hit the ground running. We will all be there to oversight you, we will push you, we will support you, we will encourage you. Where we need to go on your behalf, we will do it. Where we need to push and to make a case for FERMA, we will do it.
In part two, after the break, Lagos State government moves to demolish more illegal structures in the state. Some affected residents call on Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu to intervene. Please join us again. Welcome back. If you just joined us, you're watching the news at 10, coming to you live on Channels Television Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. Governor Abba Yusuf of Kano State vows to approach the Supreme Court following the appeal court judgment removing him from office. Says attempts by some individuals to grab power from him will fail. Federal government begins process for the release of over 4,000 inmates from correctional centers across the country as part of measures to decongest the facilities. Many buildings to go down in Lagos as the federal and state governments intensify demolition of illegal structures amid protests by affected residents. And hundreds of people, including some patients, leave Gaza's main hospital, but Israel denies asking them to evacuate. The Federal Housing Authority in the Southwest Zone is set for the demolition of houses whose owners have allegedly trespassed on the second phase of their housing scheme in the Festac area of Lagos. I was speaking with journalists after a tour of the affected area. The General Manager, Southwest of the Federal Housing Authority, Mr. Akintola Olagbemiro, said owners of the encroached properties have no regard for the rule of law. According to him, most of such owners still continue with construction even after the buildings have been marked for demolition.
This is the phase 2 of the Federal Housing Authority project in Festac area of Lagos, Southwest Nigeria. For several years, this federal government acquired land laid fallow, but has now been encroached by land grabbers and sold to developers and private persons. The Federal Housing Authority in the last 3 years has been at war with the occupiers, justifying the demolition of the buildings, claiming owners are trespassers.
A lot of illegalities have gone on in that place, and we're talking about quite a number of illegal developments. And we're trying to see how best we could be able to resolve this and to be able to make people live in more serene environments, and for us to be able to also do our own part by making sure that people have good quality houses for them to be able to live in. Unfortunately, we've had a series of issues of illegal estate developers, illegal people selling land anyhow. We have people who claim they own the place. We even have some form of litigations left, right, and center. But everywhere we have worked, especially in the last 2.5 years, we're trying our best to stay out of where there is litigation.
With demolition notices boldly written on the walls, construction activities is on non-stop.
To our surprise, the level of work is still going on. We already have the permission of our management, so I will also sought for security. When we have that security backing, we will start to enforce the structures that are on the road and the ones that are on the pipeline setback and the ones that have built after that stakeholder meeting that we all said that everybody should wait, because some actually waited after that marking, they didn't work. And some, they just started afresh, and they are already going on like that, saying that after all, the organization will regularize them. So that those that doesn't have regard for the rule of law, the law will also deal with them accordingly.
However, various interventions and meetings with both parties seems to be yielding results, as the authority is considering regularization of documents of those who obeyed its stop work instructions with less infractions.
While the federal government is set to begin the demolition of encroached buildings in the Festac area of Lagos, the Lagos state government has already begun the demolition of distressed buildings in the Oyingbo and Ebutimeta areas of the state. Speaking to journalists on the matter in Ebutimeta, the State Commissioner for Physical Planning and Urban Development, Mr. Oluyinka Olumide, says occupants of the affected buildings were served notices but refused to vacate until the ugly incident happened. He adds that government will continue to ensure the safety of residents by doing the right things at all times.
The reason for this enforcement today is to carry out demolition of all the buildings that have been assessed as distress. And unfortunately, when the notices were served to them, they refused to do the needful, which is to get to the material testing laboratory and come and do structural integrity of this test with a certified professional engineer. But they refused to do all these things within the time we're giving them. So we are left with no option than to do the work we're expected to do, which is to bring these buildings down. Because the number one responsibility of the government is to protect life. Life. Once the life is gone, it cannot be replaced. So we cannot be here and allow, because of selfish interest of making money, for people to lose their life. All these buildings that are marked as distressed with no response from the owner, from today, we'll bring all of them down.
Meanwhile, some residents of Kano Estate in Enugu local council development area of Lagos State are not taking the recent demolition of their buildings lightly and are calling on the state governor to take another look at the issue. But according to the Lagos State government, the affected buildings were constructed on the natural stream of the Isheri-Osun-Jakonde drainage system, resulting in the yearly flooding of some adjoining communities.
This canal is a major boundary between Jakonde Estate, Ashamu Bukno Estate and other adjoining communities in Enugu Local Council Development Area, Lagos State. The non-completion of the channelization of the drainage into the primary canal at Okeafa, as well as which path it should follow, is the bone of contention in this story. On the Ashamu Bukno side, some residents say the construction of the waterway ought to go on a straight line, but certain buildings erected along its way have caused a significant blockage. This is why their homes were marked and pulled down to create a new channel.
We have these issues for a long time, so we have to charge the matter to court as a civil matter. So court gave an order for everybody to stop till the court concludes on what to do. But the ministry keep coming here, diverting the face of this canal to this upper side.
What happened on 7th, I can't even understand. On 8th in the morning, they came here and brought the house down and said the case had been struck out. But as I'm talking to you, the matter is coming up on 23rd of this month. We are to have this, the sitting is coming up, and they are aware, they were properly served.
But on the other side of the canal and right beside Jakonde Estate are Peace Home Valley CDA and Unity CDA, two communities that have for many years been battling with flooding caused by the non-completion of the canal. The chairman of Peace Home Valley CDA takes us a bit back to when it all began in 2014.
So where government is constructing is the route, because they gave us the chart. The community that was invited in that 2014 meeting were my own community, Peace Home Valley. The other community they call the Unity, chairman Pastor Awansu. The other community, Shamu East, their chairman is Saka. So every protocol was observed, every procedure was observed. It was a dialogue from the beginning, and it is their chart they are following. And they have even given them a listening ear. By when they complained, they brought in high-power delegation from the ministry, who came in with them, moved from the beginning to the end, and they showed them that this is the route.
To get a clearer picture of the situation, we speak to the Permanent Secretary, Office of Drainage Services and Water Resources in Lagos State.
Resolving all these flooding challenges, that was why government awarded a project in 2021, to resolve that flooding situation. And that's okay, fine. We've been asking you to leave the alignment. Now the hen has come home to roost. We need to remove you from the alignment. And for over a year, some people in the area took us to court because we served notices that we're going to remove their property, that we can conclude the project. There was an injunction for almost a year. We waited. But sometime last week, the court threw out the matter because of their non-challenge to the court process that they instigated. The court to throw away the matter, and so we have to now go with the project.
While the Lagos state government has taken decisive action to pull down all structures it says are built over the natural stream, the affected residents say the exercise is unjustified and are appealing to the governor to intervene in the matter. So far, at the time of this report, almost 10 buildings have been demolished.
To other stories, Nigeria's first president, Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, would have been 119 years of age were he to be alive today. In memory of all that he stood for, the Nnamdi Azikiwe University Awka for the 12th time has played host to important personalities for the annual Zik Lecture Series. Anambra State Governor Professor Chukwuma Soludo and his Oyo State counterpart, Seyi Makinde, amongst other high-profile individuals, joined in discussing Africa's development as espoused by the foremost nationalist.
Here in the ASU auditorium of the Nnamdi Azikiwe University Awka in Anambra State, Governor Chukwuma Soludo, his Oyo State counterpart, Seyi Makinde, the Labour Party presidential candidate in the 2023 election, Mr. Peter Obi, former president of Malawi, Dr. Joyce Banda, members of the university management led by the Vice-Chancellor, Professor Charles Esimoni, and the benefactor of the Zik Lecture Series, Senator Ben Obi, among many others, converged to relive once again the ideals of late Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, the first president of Nigeria and one of the nationalists who worked to secure Nigeria's independence in 1960.
The Zik Lecture Series that is held every day on the 16th of November, being Zik's birthday, will henceforth metamorphose into Founders Day for Nnamdi Azikiwe University.
The benefactor of the lecture series announces that the Zik Research Institute, a project embarked upon with a trust fund, is just a few months away from completion.
The project for the permanent site of the institute, by God's grace, will be handed over to the Vice-Chancellor and his team.
For the chairman of the occasion, Governor Makinde, the theme of the event, especially where it concerns sustainable development, is apt.
Perhaps if Nigeria as a whole has been thinking more about sustainability, maybe there are many mistakes that we've made in our nationhood trajectory, which we would have avoided.
The keynote speaker and first female to handle such a task at the Zik Lecture Series believes the late icon left an indelible mark and as such deserves to be honored even more.
Africa needs answers to the issues that are affecting us. Nobody is going to come into Africa to do this for us. We must do it ourselves. And the Zik of Africa, the great Zik of Africa, led the way.
Mr. Peter Obi highlights some of the areas that need intervention in order to attain sustainable development.
We'll get about 600 million naira annually, which if you convert the dollar today, is about 500,000 naira. That is what we use to go to a meeting of United Nations for 1 week. It's not acceptable. That is the problem of Nigeria.
Rounding off the speeches, Governor Soludo praises the ideals of Dr. Azikiwe and advocates African unity.
As a university professor, I had about 15 books to my credit. One of them is entitled Our Continent, Our Future. And the second, one of them, is Can Africa Claim the 21st Century? And we are taking our base and roots back again to the Zikist ideology of Renaissance Africa. One united, livable, and prosperous Africa.
The event climaxes with the cutting of the cake, presentation of awards, and cultural display by the excited students of the university.
Still to come on the news at 10, NGX Regulation Limited moves to promote financial literacy and inclusion for women's economic growth. That's on Business News. Please stay with us. Welcome back. Barely over a week after participating in the Saudi Africa Summit in Jeddah, the president has departed Abuja for Berlin, Germany, to attend the G20 Compact with Africa conference to be hosted by German Chancellor Olaf Scholz on November the 20th this year. According to the Special Advisor on Media and Publicity to the President, Ajuri Ngalale, the G20 CWA conference will be taking place alongside the 4th G20 Investment Summit, co-hosted by the German government and German business associations. This visit comes after the invitation extended to the President by the German Chancellor following his recent visit to Nigeria. It also provides an opportunity for the Nigerian delegation to follow up meetings conducted with representatives from German business organizations who were part of the official delegation of the German Chancellor to Nigeria. So we return to Lagos, where the debate around workers' welfare again took center stage when 2 staff of the Lagos State Waste Management Authority died after a vehicle rammed into them while on duty on Monday, November the 13th. There are also concerns surrounding the activities of officials of the Lagos State Traffic Management Agency who have been accused of involvement in similar road accidents. Our correspondent, Kelly Agiga, captures the travails and traumatic experience of the family of the 2 slain Loma workers.
It's a Black Monday as the bodies of 2 sanitation workers lie on the Charlie Boy bus stop at the Bagada end of the Oshodi-Apapa Expressway. Their sisters, aged 60 and 65, and are the latest victims of repeated chase of errant drivers, allegedly by officials of the Lagos State Transport Management Agency. A claim the agency denies.
We don't need last mine in Lagos State anymore. Let them go. They are not military, they are not paramilitary. Let them go. We don't need them anymore.
And this is not the first time this thing is happening, not the second time.
Our earlier coverage featured a visit to the offices of LASMA and the Lagos State Task Force, with both agencies declining interviews with Channels Television. The Office of the Special Advisor to the Lagos State Governor on Transportation directly supervises the activities of LASMA, and the Special Advisor, Sholagiwa, agrees to an interview.
From investigation that LASMA or any enforcement agency was not involved at all. However, the sad part for me is that means I have a perception, my organization, the organization which I manage, has a perception issue with the public. Any LASMA personnel cannot, should not use any other vehicle apart from the one with the inscription of LASMA, official vehicle, to do arrest or to even manage traffic. They know that any LASMA is in Korokpe, in Danfo, please send their numbers, send the pictures. We know all of them, or the videos, so contact me, and they will go through the disciplinary process.
However, to unravel the circumstances surrounding this tragic event, we visit the family of the late Loma sweepers, Folashade Odufuwa and Adejoke Adefuye. Mourners still appear shocked and perhaps in disbelief.
I ask for God's guidance over the family, protection that is fortified with the blood of Jesus to cover you all.
It's a great loss for us, because she's a mother indeed. She's very hardworking. She talked to me maybe on Sunday. You need to keep your siblings. Keep them together. I don't know that this is the last word he's telling me. Because I came to visit her, talk to her. She prayed for me. She never prayed like that for me. 2 hours.
When we saw their dead body, the junior sister was here and my mom was there. They are very, very close to each other. So I don't know how the accident happened and killed 2 of them. No one want to go and meet and say that, okay, maybe if it is only one person that died, we go and meet the second one. 2 of them at the same time.
And to honor the 2 sisters, family, colleagues, associates, and government officials are here for a wake-keep.
Àgbàládùra ìpè kí Ọlọ́run tó gbé wọn sí afẹ́fẹ́ rere kí ẹ̀yìn tí wọ́n fi sílẹ̀ kó má bàjẹ́.
In his tribute, the managing director of LOMA, Dr. Muyiwa Badegeshi, makes a promise to the family.
You own LOMA, and we've promised to absorb any of the bereaved who wish to work with us.
But that is received with mixed feelings from the crowd, who are mostly LOMA sweepers. This is followed by an array of allegations and demands by the cleaners.
It's all because we don't have union. That's why they are treating us like animal. We don't have insurance. We are not staff of Lagos State. And they used to put us at the express. We are not saying we are not working. We are all widows. Most of us are widows. This is the work we use to maintain our children, to hold our house. Not that we want to die.
We are suffering. Let's talk about our working. 1, people are collecting salary from 28, 27, 17, 18 of the next month we collect our salary.
Numerous efforts to get a response from the Waste Management Agency, including a visit to the agency, has been met by a wall of resistance and silence. The Lagos State Police Command arraigned Jerry Ironkwe, the driver who reportedly crushed the 2 sweepers and later turned himself in. It was also gathered that Ironkwe was being chased by criminals and not by officials of LASMA.
2 of those cameras are facing the Oshodi area, and one's facing just the underbridge area where exactly that incident happened on Monday. And one wonders if the footage of this CCTV could be made available to Lagosians, especially members of the family of those who have departed as a result of this tragic incident. Just maybe the family would have some sort of consolation as to exactly those behind this particular incident, and of course maybe justice as well for the family. From the Gbagada Oshodi Expressway, Kelly Egiga, Channels Television News.
Indeed, a very sad incident. Moving on now to the governor of Enugu State, Mr. Peter Mbah, says his administration will allocate 30% of the 2024 state budget on the education sector, as it remains the state's greatest weapon against poverty. Mr. Mbah made the declaration in his keynote address at the 19th convocation of the Enugu State University of Science and Technology, Agbani, where 9,017 graduates received various degrees. He also said his administration has completed the construction of 1 smart school, while 250 more would be constructed in less than 14 months to cover the entire 260 wards, and specially trained teachers will be recruited and sent to the schools.
By 2024, we will be spending close to 30% of our state budget on education. As you know, this is well above the 15 to 25% recommended by international development agencies. In our view, this investment is justified because education is that magic key that will ensure that every citizen is given fair chance at life. It would ultimately ensure that we can achieve the Enugu of our dreams, where poverty is reduced to a distant memory for every family in the state. And we can say goodbye to the levels of hopelessness that tend to give rise to high levels of criminality in our communities.
The United Nations, the European Union, and the Lagos State government have restated the need to end gender-based violence against women and girls, including female genital mutilation, child marriage, and other harmful practices. Wife of the Lagos State governor, Dr. Ibijoke Sanwo-Olu, who was represented at the formal handover and closing out of the EU-UN Spotlight Initiative chapter in the state, gave the assurance that the governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu administration, will continue to strengthen laws and policies that will protect women and girls in the state. For the United Nations representative and national coordinator for Spotlight Initiative, Anu John, the closing out and handing over of the EU-UN Spotlight Initiative represents a milestone for the vision of ending violence against women and girls.
In Lagos State, we have witnessed the power of collaboration and the transformative potential it holds since this collaboration started about 4 years ago. Through our combined efforts, we have made significant progress in creating a society where every woman and girl can live free from violence and discrimination. The EU-UN Spotlight Initiative played a crucial role in amplifying our resolve to eliminate all forms of violence against women and girls, making it a cornerstone of sustainable development. It is my belief that with the focus of the UN Women towards prevention, protection, and access to essential services, we will jointly work towards a future where no woman or girl will be left behind.
This program is most important because we are talking about addressing gender-based violence in the country and especially in Lagos. Gender-based violence is extremely prevalent, and we have seen the plight of women when it comes to abuse, when it comes to child marriage, when it comes to female genital mutilation. So this program has helped the government, the civil society, the communities to come together and to deliver in terms of prevention and response to survivors of gender-based violence.
It's now time for some business news with Laddie Williams.
Thanks. While boosting food production, nutrition, and security in Nigeria, that's the focus of discussion between the African Development Bank and the 7 newly elected Nigerian state governors. The delegation of Northwestern governors, led by Katsina State Governor Malam Diko Umar Rada, met with AFDB President Dr. Akiwumi Adesina to strengthen cooperation and unlock Nigeria's vast agricultural potential and fast-track the implementation of special agro-industrial processing zones. Other priority areas include opportunity to leverage and the African Development Bank's renewable energy programs, including its $20 billion Desert to Power initiative that will deliver 10,000 megawatts of solar energy to nearly 250 million people across the Sahel region. And Dogecoin's market value recently experienced a 7.50% drop, going from about 8 cents 5 to 8 cents 0, following an unexpected development from SpaceX. The aerospace company led by Elon Musk reported the loss of its Starship spacecraft during a key test flight. This marks a significant setback for SpaceX deep space launch system, notably its second major test flight challenge. This incident not only affected SpaceX's space exploration goals, but surprisingly sent ripples through the crypto market, evidenced by the sharp decline in Dogecoin's valuation. And the Nigerian Exchange Regulation Limited put together an investor education program themed Equip Her, Financial Literacy and Inclusion for Women's Economic Growth. Equip Her is a pioneering initiative of NGX Regco with a mandate to promote market development, focus on empowering women, and promoting inclusive growth in Nigeria's vibrant equity market. Take a listen.
EQUIPA basically rests on three pillars. The first thing is that there should be awareness for women about the products and the capacity of the capital market for them to become economic agents through investing in the capital market. The second thing is to build their capacity. So after you are aware about the capital market, what capacity do you have to actually participate in it? Because as you are aware, if you just run in, you don't know what to do, you don't know who to use, you don't have any strategy. Just as you run in, you will run out.
We are confident that this is one of the measures that women can be supported in getting involved in, for them to be formally brought into financial services, for them to also build their resilience. Now, typically when we look at financial inclusion for low-income women and women-led MSMEs, we always think about the usual solutions like savings, credit, insurance, payments, pensions, but there is one particular aspect which needs to receive more attention, and EQUIPA by NGX Reg Co enables that focus on investing to be emphasized on, and we are very supportive of this initiative, because if we have more low-income women and women-led MSMEs able to invest in the stock market easily and at the right time, we are sure their resilience will be built and they can grow their wealth.
And talking about investing, bullish trend persisted for the third consecutive week in the domestic equities market, with investors showing interest in bellwether stocks like MTN, Nigeria Seplat, and Airtel Africa, propelling the all-share index 0.37% up week on week to 71,112 points. Consequently, the month-to-date and year-to-date returns rose to 0.4% and 38.8%. However, trading activity weakened, with total traded volume and value decreasing by 19.9% and 39% week on week. Meanwhile, sectoral performance was mixed, with gains observed in the oil and gas, insurance, and consumer goods indices, and a decline in the industrial goods index. The banking index remained unchanged. Deep Capital topped the gainers chart for the week. The Cure Industries also was spotted on the top 3 list, while Japan Gold led the losing stocks. The trio of Japan Gold and Fidelity and Jais Bank topped trades by volume. And that's it on business. Back to Aya with the rest of the news at 10.
Many thanks, Ladi. To energy issues, this time outside the shores of Nigeria, the West Africa Power Pool Information and Coordination Center, located in Abime, Calavi, Benin Republic, has been inaugurated. The EU-funded project is designed to ensure electricity trade between ECOWAS countries is done transparently, with the goal of improving the sub-region's developmental capacity. At the event, the Vice President of ECOWAS explained that with support from technical and financial partners, the West Africa Power Pool has so far interconnected 13 out of the 15 member states of ECOWAS. Our correspondent, Kila Megwa, reports.
After years of preparations, the day is finally here. The inauguration of the Information and Coordination Center of the ECOWAS electricity market, a €30 million project funded by the European Union, with headquarters right here in Abome Calavi, Benin Republic. Players in the electricity sector from all over West Africa and parts of Europe are here for what is being described as a historic event.
I'm quite impressed with what I saw this facility, which is the Communication and the Coordination Center for the West African Power Pool, which is indeed a laudable initiative by all the member states of the West African sub-region. This will allow seamless trading of power in terms of purchase and sale of power among all member countries, which will actually allow the members to enjoy reliable, functional, uninterrupted, and affordable electricity for households, businesses, and industries.
Since 2006, the ECOWAS heads of state and government approved the principles of an ECOWAS Energy Exchange Program, a power tool to facilitate the production and exchange of electrical energy between the countries with surplus electricity and the countries in short supply, to meet the overall developmental demands of West Africa. a goal the European Union says they are proud to fund.
Bienvenue à cette cérémonie officielle d'inauguration.
Proper coordination of these trades to ensure equity and accountability among member nations is what necessitated the establishment of this Information Coordination Center. And according to the ECOWAS Vice President, the third phase of the electricity market, welcoming a fully open and competent market, is expected to be launched when the market is well advanced.
At ECOWAS, part of our vision and part of what we do on a daily basis is to promote regional integration. And through this project, we are bringing together all our member states into a pool where the countries that are in need of additional supply of electricity can have access to such electricity constantly at any given time, and can conduct some trading activities through that online platform.
As West African governments and players in the electricity sector envisage a future powered by electricity supply, the development factor remains a key element if the region is to experience the growth it has in its sights.
In football, Nigeria Super Eagles took to the pitch of the Huye Stadium, Butare, for the official training as they continue their quest to qualify for the FIFA 2026 World Cup. The venue, which is in Rwanda, will host the Day 2 encounter between the Super Eagles and the Warriors of Zimbabwe. 3 precious points are at stake for the 3-time African champions to roll their campaign back on track. And Nigeria's Falconets will go up against Tanzania on Sunday in the second leg of the second round of the qualifiers for the 2024 FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup. Both teams battled to a 1-goal draw in the first leg match played at the Azam Sports Complex in Tanzania. But a win will take Coach Christopher Danjuma's girls a step closer to the tournament. The match will be played at the MKO Abiola National Stadium in Abuja. Nigeria has been an ever-present at the tournament or the competition since it was launched as an under-19 tournament in Canada some 21 years ago. On the foreign scene, Liberia's incumbent president and football legend George Weah has conceded defeat after nearly complete returns showed opposition leader Joseph Boakai leading with 50.89% of the vote. Results published by the Electoral Commission after tallying the ballots from more than 99% of polling stations gave Weah 49.11% of the votes cast. Gazans are traveling south in response to a warning from Israel that civilians should evacuate some areas in the southern part of the enclave. Palestinian officials lament that the Israeli military had ordered the evacuation of all staff and 1,000 to 1,500 patients from Al-Shifa, with evacuees facing treks along dangerous, bombed-out roads with bodies or littered with dead bodies. And the main news again. Governor Abba Yusuf of Kano State today vowed to approach the Supreme Court following the appeal court judgment which removed him from office. He said attempts by some individuals to grab power from him will fail. That's the news at 10 tonight. Many thanks for watching. I'm Ayo Tunde Balogun. From all of us here, is good night and stay safe.